So it was end of our part 3. Now I am moving to part 4, advice for young students and professionals. As I am always, I was always waiting for this part because this is also important part for me. So my first question is, what do you think is the best degree to start studying right now?
Any engineering degree. Any engineering degree will give you the fundamentals that actually allow you to be able to do engineering work. You can actually transform that from one field to the other. For example, the majority of the members of the Society of Petroleum Engineers are not petroleum engineers by education. They are petroleum engineering now by practice, by the work they are doing, but they're not petroleum engineering by education. A lot of engineers, a lot of petroleum engineers also work in different disciplines. The point is that as an engineer, you have the fundamentals, and these fundamentals will allow you to work across the discipline. I'm sorry. For example, when we talk about the fluid flowing into the porous media, this is exactly the same as the heat equation, where mechanical engineers talk about the flow of heat. This is exactly the same equation. So this is just an example of how can you go back and forth. One thing I can do now, because technology is rapidly changing and the requirements are rapidly changing worldwide. So what I would suggest to our young members is that maybe you also need to have a minor in addition to the major. And this minor can be in another type of engineering, in computer sciences, in applied mathematics. And this minor, if you combine that with your major, then that actually will help you throughout. For example, in my case, I have my major is petroleum engineering, but my PhD, I have a PhD minor in computer sciences, and that is helpful a whole lot. So keep in mind. Remember when I was talking about at the beginning, you do the work, try to understand, make sure that you understand the physics behind it, and once you do that, you will be able to transform in your life. So any engineering, and get a minor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I totally agree with you about engineering. So what do you think are the secrets behind getting to where you have got to?
Okay. The first thing is that you need to do a very good job in your current position, the current job that you have, the current position that you have. You need to do a very good job on that, because this is how you are going to be evaluated and how you're going to be looked at if for progress. You need to do the best job you can in your current job. You need to do the work. You need to put on the work. Then while you work, if there is something you are not confident about, you're not sure about, ask questions and learn what is needed to do the job. One of the things that I found is that experienced people, not necessarily managers and supervisors, experienced people actually love to answer questions from young people and love to actually show you what they did and what the experience was, and from that you learn a lot. And that will help you in doing your current job. You need to do the best you can and ask questions, especially from experienced people. If possible, you need to seek a mentor if you can, a person who will mentor you. By the way, it doesn't have to be something formal. It doesn't have to be like something's written in your job that you have such and such person as a mentor. Actually, this mentor can be something informal. One of the more experienced people who are in your group or just on the same floor as you are, or you worked with them on, although they are in different area of expertise than yours, but you're working with them on the same project. Then that will actually help you, and it may be more the mentor. And the other thing is that you need to communicate. Communication extremely important. You need to communicate, especially with your manager. You need to communicate with them frequently. I'm not talking about like you actually go to have a full-blown PowerPoint presentation to them. No, it's just communication continuously about what is being done and how is the progress is happening. Whether they are actually asking you to give them a progress report or not, just make that communication important. And when you talk about communication is important, then that leads us to the point about you need to work on your writing skills. This is important. And you also need to talk about the speaking skills. The more you experience, exercise these things and work with them, practice them, the more easier it is. So communication is important. And then finally, there is a good word that somebody taught me, and he said, "Don't let perfect be the enemy of good." Just because you wanted to have a perfect solution, now you have a good solution. Now you're stopping. You're not communicating your good work. You're not finished getting this result, good result. You're not getting to the field because they are not perfect yet. So another way of saying that, the people call that the 80-20 solution. The solution is 80% good. That's good enough. It doesn't have to be 99% good, which is perfect. So don't let perfect be the enemy of good, or the 80-20 rule. So these are, I would say, the 4 points I would care about. Do the best you can in your job, seek mentors or help from experienced people, communicate, and think about the 80-20 rule.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And which skills do you recommend students to learn as soon as possible, and why?
Well, in addition to the engineering skill, I would say that it is very important right now that we all sharpen our knowledge and include our knowledge in the data of data analytics and computer programming, and one more time, communication skills. We all know that data analytics is now something that is expanding, mainly because of the computer technology that is increasing, and now we have lots of data. We all know that if you go today and you try to order something from Amazon, as soon as you turn the page on, it shows you stuff that actually is of interest to you personally. How did this happen? Because of all the data that collected on you, on everything that you did before. The same thing is happening for us on the oil field. There is a lot of work that's been done in that area right now. Some of it are very impressive. Some of it actually say that we can actually know what's happening in the reservoir without actually testing the reservoir. So this is an important area of technology, data analytics. When I talk to some of my friends who are university professors, and I tell them, are you offering that to your students? And they tell me, what do you mean we're offering them to the students? Our students are demanding that we give it to them. So I'm really very happy when I hear that. Our young people are extremely, extremely smart. And I'm glad I don't have to compete with them now. I passed that. They are very, very smart now. And that means that our society and our industry is going to be in good hands for years to come. So data analytics, computer programs, all different types of computer programs are very helpful. They help you a whole lot to do your work. And communication. Sharpen your communication. Writing communication right now when you're at school, sharpen your writing communication. If English is not your native language, just like in my case, take classes while you're at the school, sharpen both your writing skills and your oral communication skills. And when you actually talk with people, you may say, "Oh, I talk with people all the time." It's a little bit different. There are people in the linguistics department at your university. They know a whole lot more about how to make you sharpen your writing and oral communication skills. Do that.
Thank you very much for your recommendation and advices. And before I move to another question, I'd like you to ask, like, if you want to drink water, please don't hesitate, because I saw you had some problem. If you want to drink water or just take a break, please let me know.
I'm just going to take a little break just to get a drink of water, and I'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Sure.
Thank you, Rahima, for giving me a break.
It was my pleasure. Are you okay? So we can continue?
We can go ahead and start. Continue, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So that's my cliche question, but I need to ask this question. Where do you see the industry going in the future?
Okay, I probably touched on that a little bit earlier on my previous thing. But one more time, the first thing we need to recognize is that the current petroleum engineering and production of oil and gas, natural gas, will continue for decades to come. Now, the renewables will increase, and they will gradually get better, will get a bigger share of the energy. And actually, that is mainly because of regulations, not because of there is something magic that they do. Is that the regulations are helping them actually be used. So what we need to do, we need to acquire the new skills to keep up with the changes that they have. And we actually need to become maybe energy engineers, not only petroleum engineers, although petroleum engineering is an important part of it. So we need to do the transition into that by learning whatever additional skills we need to do in order to do the engineering work that is required in order to produce the energy using renewables and to use our current knowledge of petroleum engineering to help with the climate change issues that is facing the world. And people are looking for us to be part of the solution. We're not the only people, but we are part of the solution. And actually, as all of you know, probably several universities, several petroleum engineering departments have changed their names and changed some of their focus, and they actually offering more training and school classes for the students in that area. So we need to manage that change that's in front of us, and we need to make sure that we acquire the additional skills that we needed. In addition, as I mentioned before, that we actually need to continue to produce more of the oil and natural gas that is needed. There is the latest prediction from EIA. EIA is the Energy Information Administration. This is the United States government entity that is their job is to predict where energy is and we're coming from in order to help the country manage the thing. And in their latest thing, they actually have a title that says renewable will be larger in providing energy by the year 2050 than anything else. And actually, when you look, they have a chart, and it shows that renewables have given a little bit above oil. I'm sorry, a little bit above natural gas, but then there is also oil there. But when you add the oil and natural gas together, they actually become twice as large as the renewables, and I'm talking about 2040. So as I said, transition is happening. We need to be smart. We need to acquire the skills, but we also need to continue to do our work because on what we are doing now, because that is needed as well.
Thank you very much for answering our question. And so, as per your previous replies, I understand that the communication is one of the key skills. So my question is, how did you develop the skill of speaking so engagingly in front of groups?
I don't know. I guess I was just thrown into the fire, as they say, and or thrown into a sea and say, well, swim or sink or something like that. I guess it started as soon as I got my bachelor degree from Cairo University, and I got drafted. Actually, at that time, you didn't have a chance. All engineers graduating were drafted to work in a specific area because the country needed them. So I was drafted to be an assistant lecturer at Cairo University. And for those of you who attend the universities in their part of the world, this assistant lecturer actually lecture. They actually hold classes, and it's a little bit different than teaching assistants and research assistants that in places like in the United States. So I was actually asked to, I had to teach the classes, and I had to talk, and I had to prepare my lectures every time. At the first year was very difficult, and it became easier after that. So that was part of it. So I had to speak publicly from the get-go. I was also encouraged and mentored at Stanford to speak all the time, to speak at graduate student seminars. So I have to give that. And also whenever we had the industry sponsors that came to visit us, and we had to give presentation to them about the research that we're doing. So they will continue to give us the grant. So a person like me could continue to get my scholarship and study. So we were continuously encouraged the mentor to do that. So I had to do that. And then when I graduated and I started working, since I was working always in research centers, then one of the main things all oil companies do is that they have training schools for their engineers. One more time, the majority of the engineers that we have are not petroleum engineers by training. So companies have training, and all people working in the research centers have to actually teach in the training. So that helped me. And also, of course, it was very important to me whenever I did any work or publish any papers, you go present them in conferences. So you do that. And one of the things that it will help you do, for example, is to, wherever you're working, if you can actually find a way that you get a course in training. One of the things that will actually open your eyes a whole lot, and maybe the most important thing to do is that you tape yourself and then watch yourself after that. Then you will immediately figure out things that you're doing that you didn't know that you're doing. And okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. And then that will be helpful. So he'll do that, but practice makes perfect.
Thank you very much for your answer, and thank you and it was the last question of my part 4. So thank you for answering our question very sincerely. As a MSc Petroleum Engineering graduate, it was an honor to be here and to hear your advices and recommendations. We really needed it, and we appreciate that you took time out of your busy schedule for us. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed our talk as well.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to do that. And thank you for the good program that you're having by asking people to share their experiences with our young professionals and students. You are the ones who are going to be taking care of our industry in the future. And we want to make sure that you have as much information as possible that's gained from the people who came before you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we wish you good luck, and we hope we are going to see you in the future as well. So thank you very much for this session.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you guys later.